The husband created a fetish website account posing as his wife. That single digital discovery would unravel what prosecutors described as an elaborate plot involving an affair, a luring strategy, and 2 deaths inside a Virginia family home. This is the case of the au pair plot. On February 23, 2023, law enforcement officers responded to a residence in Herndon, Virginia, an affluent suburb of Washington, D.C. Inside the Banfield family home, they found 2 individuals deceased. Christine Banfield was 37 years old. She was the wife of Brendan Banfield and the mother of their children. Joseph Ryan was 38 years old. The cause of death for Christine Banfield was determined to be stab wounds. The cause of death for Joseph Ryan was determined to be gunshot wounds. The initial investigation focused on determining the sequence of events and identifying the responsible parties. Law enforcement officers secured the crime scene and began collecting physical evidence. They also interviewed witnesses and family members. Brendan Banfield, Christine's husband, was a former IRS law enforcement officer. He became a person of interest in the investigation. Prosecutors would later allege that Banfield had orchestrated the deaths of his wife and Joseph Ryan. The investigation revealed that Banfield had created an account on a fetish website. He posed as his wife, Christine Banfield, on this account. Using this account, he engaged in communications that lured Joseph Ryan to the Banfield family home. The pretense was a sexual role-play scenario. The case became known as the au pair murders due to the involvement of the family's Brazilian au pair. Juliana Peres Magalhães was the au pair who lived with the Banfield family and cared for their children. The investigation revealed that Banfield had been having an affair with Magalhães. Digital evidence played a central role in the investigation. Law enforcement recovered the fetish website account that Banfield had created. They also recovered communications between Banfield and Magalhães. Cell phone records established the timeline of events. The investigation also examined the relationship between Banfield and Magalhães. The affair was documented through text messages and other digital communications. The nature and extent of the relationship were established through forensic analysis of the devices. Magalhães was taken into custody and charged in connection with the deaths. She entered into a cooperation agreement with prosecutors. In exchange for her testimony against Banfield, Magalhães pleaded guilty to manslaughter. During her testimony, Magalhães stated, "I just couldn't keep it to myself, the feeling of shame and guilt and sadness." Her testimony connected the dots of what prosecutors described as an elaborate plot. Magalhães testified about the events leading up to the deaths. She detailed the affair with Banfield. She described the communications and the planning that preceded the incident. Her testimony was crucial for the prosecution's case against Banfield. The trial of Brendan Banfield began in February of 2026. The prosecution presented evidence including the fetish website account, text messages, and cell phone records. They also presented Magalhães' testimony. The prosecution argued that Banfield had planned to kill his wife and Joseph Ryan. They argued that he had created the fetish website account to lure Ryan to the home. They argued that he had involved Magalhães in the plot through their affair. The defense argued that Banfield was not responsible for the deaths. They attempted to cast doubt on Magalhães' testimony. They noted that she had pleaded guilty to manslaughter and was testifying as part of a cooperation agreement. The jury heard testimony from multiple witnesses. They examined the digital evidence. They considered the timeline of events established through phone records and other communications. The forensic evidence in the case included the analysis of the fetish website account. Investigators had traced the account to Banfield. The communications from the account were recovered and presented as evidence. The prosecution also presented evidence of the affair between Banfield and Magalhães. Text messages and other communications documented the relationship. The timeline of the affair was established through digital forensics. The children of Christine and Brendan Banfield were in the home at the time of the incident. Their ages were established through court testimony. The child endangerment charges were based on the presence of the children in the home during the event. The jury deliberated on the evidence presented. They considered the testimony of Magalhães, the digital evidence, and the forensic analysis. On February 24, 2026, the jury reached a verdict. Brendan Banfield was found guilty on multiple charges. The charges included aggravated murder and child endangerment. The judge sentenced Brendan Banfield to life without parole. The sentence reflected the seriousness of the offenses and the evidence presented. Magalhães' cooperation agreement resulted in a reduced sentence. She pleaded guilty to manslaughter and testified against Banfield. Her testimony was essential to the prosecution's case. The case highlighted the use of digital evidence in establishing motive and premeditation. The fetish website account, created by Banfield and posing as his wife, provided evidence of the luring strategy. The text messages and phone records established the timeline. The cooperation agreement with Magalhães demonstrated the prosecution's use of witness testimony from co-conspirators. By securing Magalhães' cooperation, the prosecution was able to build a case against Banfield. The forensic investigation in this case demonstrated the importance of digital forensics. The recovery of the fetish website account was a breakthrough in the investigation. The analysis of cell phone records established the timeline of events. The legal proceedings in this case were complex due to the involvement of multiple parties. The prosecution had to establish the roles of both Banfield and Magalhães. The testimony of Magalhães was crucial for establishing Banfield's role. The case also demonstrated the challenges of investigating incidents involving multiple individuals. The digital evidence provided a clear trail of communications. The forensic analysis of devices was essential for establishing the relationships and planning. For the Banfield family, the legal outcomes provided some measure of resolution. Christine Banfield's family had lost a daughter and mother. Joseph Ryan's family had lost a son and brother. The convictions ensured that those responsible were held accountable. The children of Christine and Brendan Banfield were placed with family members following the incident. Their well-being was a consideration throughout the legal proceedings. The case of the Au Pair plot became a notable example of how digital evidence can solve complex criminal cases. The fetish website account, the text messages, and the cell phone records all contributed to the prosecution's case. Law enforcement agencies increasingly rely on digital forensics in homicide investigations. The recovery of communications from websites and devices can establish timelines and relationships. This case demonstrated the value of these investigative methods. The legal proceedings followed standard court procedures. The prosecution presented evidence, the defense cross-examined witnesses, and the jury reached a verdict. The sentencing reflected the severity of the offenses. The forensic methods used in this case are now part of the standard investigative toolkit for homicide cases. Digital forensics, witness testimony, and physical evidence are all used to establish the facts of a case. The case also highlighted the importance of cooperation agreements in complex cases. The prosecution's ability to secure Magalhães' testimony was essential to the conviction. For viewers interested in true crime and forensic investigation, this case provides an educational example of how digital evidence is used in modern homicide investigations. The combination of digital forensics, witness testimony, and physical evidence established the facts of the case. The Au Pair plot case in Herndon, Virginia, remains a significant example of family betrayal and the use of digital evidence in homicide investigations. The convictions of Banfield and Magalhães demonstrate the criminal justice system's response to these acts. The investigation procedures, forensic methods, and legal proceedings in this case are consistent with standard practices. The case is documented in public court records and news reports. Thank you for watching Psych File. If you found this documentary informative, please like this video, Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to the channel for more true crime investigations. We'll see you in the next episode.